Good morning, Internet and Hamza. We're here for another edition of Wednesday One Thing. I'm Maury Rubin here with my co-host Hamza, who you can't see right now, but he's definitely here on the other side. We're switching up the format again to give you a more visual look at what we're thinking about in today's e-commerce and technology news, and we're just going to jump right into it. So, first of all, the big news of the week is Instagram has now introduced, or they're currently launching, a dedicated shopping platform on Instagram. So if you're an avid Instagram user, you probably have seen probably a tab that says something like shopping, and you'll just see a bunch of products. And what Instagram is now doing is they're switching up this shopping channel to make it more of a discovery platform so that individuals on Instagram can discover new brands. They're going to serve you up more like colorful content that you'd be used to on Instagram, and also allow you to check out on Facebook, which was another big thing they announced earlier this year, which was Facebook Shops. So you'll be able to have the entire product right there in Instagram. And so what I want to do with Hamza right now, just to sort of break down what this means for Instagram, is just run through some stats and see if he knows a little bit about Instagram and what exactly this means for Instagram and Facebook. So just off the bat, Hamza, do you know how many how many users there are on Instagram as of 2018?
Hey, good morning, Maury, and everyone. And in terms of users, I'm gonna just hazard a guess, say about 500 million.
500 million users on Instagram?
I don't know. There's about a billion plus Facebook users, so I'm just going by a ratio.
Yeah, so
Uh,
there's north of a billion users on Instagram. So that's the first thing.
oh wow. Okay, cool.
So you're very far off on that.
Very
The
far.
next is, what do you think the percentage of people in the US users that are above the age, or sorry, are between the ages of 18 to 24 on Instagram? What percentage of US users?
Oh wow. It's got to be over 80%.
Closer to that time, so 75%.
Okay.
And the last stat I want you to guess at here is Facebook did a survey of what people use Instagram for shopping. What percentage do you think of users use Instagram to discover new products? And what percentage do you think they use to decide whether to buy?
Hmm. I'm gonna say something close to 10% use Instagram to discover new products specifically. And yeah, super arbitrary, but I'd probably half that for how many use it to buy.
So just completely so far off on both measures. So 83% of users use Instagram to discover new products,
Oh, I was awful.
and 80% use it to decide whether to buy new products.
Hmm.
So just if you lump all those stats together, you can sort of see why this is such an amazing opportunity for Instagram to get into the shopping game. You have so many users, which obviously if you're a Facebook user, you're likely also an Instagram user. So north of a billion users. You have the most engaged users, about 75% of your users fall in that sweet spot of e-commerce users, 18 to 24, and that's just in the US. And then you have so many people who are coming to Instagram to discover new products, services, and then 80% are actually using it to make that purchase decision. So what I'm just going to show you on the screen here is exactly what the shop channel looks like right now. So right at its current form, Instagram shop just looks like a regular Instagram page where you have, it's verified shop. You have different posts that show different products. And when you click into these products, it looks exactly like an Instagram post. So this is really their discovering channel. So you have a really beautiful lifestyle looking photo, and then you have a story about the founder and the product and sort of what the brand is doing. So this is a really stark comparison to what they had before, which was just a page with a bunch of different products. And you can see why this sort of ties into those stats that I just mentioned, which is product discovering and also product deciding whether to buy a product. And why I think this is really interesting is you can contrast this to the recent launch of Shopify's shop store, and you can really see the different approach that they've taken. Like this is what Shopify's app looks like, where you have some you have some stores on the top, and then you just have different products. And I think what Instagram is highlighting here is that the way people are discovering product and actually making that purchase decision is through stories. They want to have that deeper connection with the brand to understand whether that brand aligns with their values, and if it is something they do want to eventually purchase. So the big news here is this is just going to give different brands that you might not have seen before really the time to shine in the spotlight. This is not what you're looking at right now. Is not the final form of what Instagram Shop is going to look like. They said that it's going to actually be a tab where you would have seen your Explore feature. So you'll see it right there. It'll say Shop, and it's a discovering platform. So not only are they going to recommend new products for you, they're also going to highlight different brands that maybe you haven't seen before or show you stuff from things you're following. And the big thing here is that they're capitalizing on a time that's ripe for innovation in e-commerce. They're tying this into their Facebook stores offering. So if you have a Facebook store, you would technically, I believe, be able to put your store on Instagram Shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then for users, this is just a seamless way where before you had to actually click checkout and that would redirect you to another website. This is just going to let you buy right from within the app. So really reduce all that friction. So I am curious from our community who, if anyone is in the US, which is where it's available now, have been able to get their store featured on Shop. And I'm just gonna, ask Hamza what you think about this new feature. If this isn't something you've seen before, like where do you think this puts Instagram in the shopping game for e-commerce?
Yeah, thanks, Maury. I think first of all, great presentation. I think Instagram has over the past few years offered companies a number of ways to sell products off Instagram, and that's obviously been one of like the core focuses of the product team over at Facebook in the past few years. Um, I understand Instagram Shop is basically, it brings out a centralized place to be able to do that. It makes it a bit more unique than any other social media platform. Certainly, you compare to other platforms that are competing for ad space, for example. And there's nothing quite like Instagram Shop, especially tied in with how important Instagram ads are for direct-to-consumer businesses. And I think just based on that, it's sort of like the next step in Instagram's evolution of trying to build out a very, very good marketplace for brands to express their creativity, express their story. There's so many things that you can portray about your brand on Instagram that isn't really true for many other media platforms. And that's what makes Instagram in part so attractive to founders. And then obviously the stats you mentioned about the number of users they have and the number of users looking to buy, percentage of users looking to buy off Instagram, just means that this is like a really exciting next step. I'm sure this isn't the final step. We're going to see more iterations of this, and I'm sure the product team is going to work to try to perfect this. But just based on this, I think it's a really, really cool channel for direct-to-consumer companies. And this means that, every direct-to-consumer company, or almost every single one, is trying to make use of Instagram. But with product developments like these, it's very hard to not be involved with Instagram as you scale your e-commerce company.
Well, I just want to leave you with one more thought here, which was that I looked at this study that Facebook published, and it looks like click-through rates on Instagram ads are not as effective as click-through rates on Facebook ads. So what that tells me, and I don't know if you agree, is that people go to Instagram for more genuine, more creative content, whereas on Facebook, it seems like people, when they see an ad, it's become sort of this more traditional selling point. You'd see on like a Google ad, and now it's a Facebook ad is just the hallmark. Whereas Instagram has remained this bastion for creativity, and so I think what Shop does is it ports over the shopping experience, but in the most Instagram way. And so, yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on sort of the difference between Facebook ads versus Instagram ads, and if you see this as sort of a way to get more shoppers engaged on Instagram.
Yeah, it's something I've thought about quite a bit actually. On if you think about it, it doesn't make sense for Facebook and Instagram ads to perform that differently because technically speaking, anything you post on Instagram should be able to be posted on Facebook too, with as much creativity, if not more. Um, but there's been a difference in performance. I think that might have more to do with the platform itself, what people expect out of the platform, and what fits better on that platform. So again, I'm not a marketing expert, and I'm not a Facebook expert either. But I think trying to break down what people use Facebook for and what they expect out of their Facebook newsfeed versus what people look out for on Instagram might explain a little bit of that divergence.
Interesting. And have you ever bought anything off Instagram?
Yeah, yeah, definitely have. Got shoes. Just once actually. So just yeah, I think last year is the only time I've bought anything off Instagram. But came across shoes, and it wasn't even for that company's own um, Instagram handle. So I was following another sort of like men's lifestyle page, and that's where the shoes got featured. So I, opened that link, and that took me to their Instagram handle, and that's where I ended up buying them from. So,
Very good.
obviously
Fall
there's
into
more than
that,
one way
that
to get around it.
80%. You're just part of that. I know this is anecdotal, but you definitely fall in that 80%. And I keep getting this mixed up in my
100%.
mind.
Yeah.
I can't help this. This might be just a subtle shot at Shopify, but the shopping channel for Instagram is called Shop, and the shopping app for Shopify is called Shops. So that
Yeah,
keeps giving me a little bit of a mental gymnastics, but it's
it
a
is.
subtle competitive angle there. Great. Do you have any other last questions on this, or what do you think? Do we wrap this?
Yeah, I think that was pretty good and concise. I'd love to follow up on this in another Wednesday one thing to see what the results have been for Instagram shops, say a month or a couple of months down the road. And if it's actually made a difference or if it's ended up being a cosmetic change. So that's
Yeah.
100% something I'd like to revisit very soon and really see what the value of Instagram shop is to direct to consumer founders.
Yeah, it's right now. It's launched in the States, from what I've read. So if you're in America and you actually have the shopping feature, let us know what that looks like. I'd be very interested. And maybe when it launches in Canada in a few weeks, we'll have a Wednesday one thing update. Thanks so much, Hamza.
Awesome. Thanks, Maury.